Let us all take a moment to offer our pranams at Bhagawan's lotus feet. The Devi Shakti in Prasanthi Nilayam is really on a crescendo right now, with the Sthapana of the Kalasham having been successfully accomplished and everyday pujas happening. And day after tomorrow, on Friday, we begin the beautiful yagna for a week. So all the divine energies, the devas and the devis who are here, I pray to all of them to bless all of you in Tustin and America and wherever else this voice is reaching from Prasanthi Nilayam, the spiritual capital of the universe, where I'm so privileged to be seated right now. Sairam, dear sisters and brothers, once again, Navaratri greetings. I think I would be remiss if I don't take a moment to. So I prayed to Swami what I should talk to you about, and I feel one of the main. This is a season of Navaratri, and in India, in the Indian Hindu Sanatan Dharma calendar, we have 4 times a year actually Navaratri. We celebrate the one right now in fall the most, but there is spring, summer, and winter also. And it's a time for renewal and refreshing our spiritual energies, our mental, emotional being, well-being, everything all at once. And I do believe when I prayed to Swami that Navratri is a good time for us to heal ourselves at all levels. We are very complex beings actually. We have emotional makeup, mental makeup, spiritual makeup, physical makeup, and we are aching and paining at one level. If we are, then it will manifest it at many others. So the best way to heal ourselves is to forgive ourselves. All of us have tried to live good lives, but I'm sure I have many moments of transgression, and you might as also have, some of you might also have. And those moments of transgression, they kind of seep into our consciousness as some form of regret or guilt, and that pulls us down. Navratri is a good time. Remorse, regret, bad decisions, bad choices, sad moments, everything offer to the goddess into that yagna and come out absolutely clean, pure, refreshed to start anew. It's a time for new beginnings. And whenever we are, if you notice, if you're a good self observer, whenever we are mad at the world, we're upset at other people, one of the main reasons for that is we're upset with ourselves. Whatever is within mirrors outside. When we are at peace and at ease within, the world looks quite good. We feel very grateful and happy, and all the ups and downs seem to be part of a larger pattern which we are able to accept. But when we are really mad at ourselves within, we find so many reasons to find fault with others and the world around us. So, a good beginning would be to forgive ourselves, because Swami forgives us so many times, and Swami has forgiven us so many times in life. We are who we are where we are because Swami has accepted us for who we are, accepted our apologies, and given us second chances. When Bhagwan can give us second chance, why can't we give ourselves that second chance? And once we give ourselves a second chance, a third chance, a new chance, I think we become more considerate towards others and their transgressions also. And it becomes easier to see Swami in them. It's not easy for a lot of people, a lot of characters we deal with, but it all starts from within. So today I thought I will share with you a few instances from my life where I have really transgressed and Swami has forgiven me. I've done silly, stupid things, especially as a student, because when I came to Swami's college, I was 18 years old and wide eyed. And I had worshipped Swami as a living God, and I had seen Swami, I had had darshan, but I had never had any close physical closeness. There was an interview he gave my sisters. I was not in that interview. So I had not had a close interaction with Bhagwan. And just to finally find God, it was just incredible. So in 1980, just after we joined, admission those days, that first year when I studied here, our college, Sri Sathya Sai College for Arts and Science College for Women or some such name, was affiliated to Sri Venkateshwara University in Tirupati. Not and the next year Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning was born, and everything got streamlined. So when we were affiliated to an external university, we were run on their schedule, and instead of starting college as it is now under SSIHL, we have a very specific academic calendar. That time there was no such thing. There was a strike in Tirupati, and our admission got very delayed. I don't know whether we joined in August or September instead of June. We did very late. Eventually, as soon as we joined, Navaratri came, and we came for the first time to Prashantinilayam. It was like somebody dropped us into a Vedic heaven, because we had only dreamt of these sounds. There was no media center and radio site to listen to Vedam 24 by 7. There was no YouTube, nothing. So to be here to experience that Vedic culture and that divine vibration, we were just blown away, my sisters and I. And shortly after that, Bhagwan's birthday was coming up, and it was a landmark birthday, right? Every 5 years, 1980 birthday. So Swami gave us saris. Now, this is the first time I didn't even know everybody could read Swami's instructions, but I was so new. Swami came to darshan. He just made some indication and said something in Telugu, and everybody reconfigured our seating in rows facing each other. So two rows of girls facing each other. And Swami started, and then these huge piles of orange color kota saris, beautiful cotton kota saris came out, and Swami started to throw one on right to his right, one to his left, and he walked in between the rows. By the way, I still have that sari pristine saved. That's one of the few things in my treasure box that I hope to leave for my children. So they can both fight. They can both fight it out who gets which sari from Swami. But only the belongings from Swami is the only wealth I actually have, and I've kept it very safely. So this particular sari, orange color kota cotton sari, Swami was throwing left, right, and everybody was touching his feet, and I also was in state of alertness, and I quickly touched his feet, and I was so happy, and I took the sari, and I just said, "Thank you so much, Swami." And Swami said, no thank you to own, something like that in English. You don't thank your own. Then we were like a state of bliss. We were not conscious of our surroundings. Swami was so beautiful, so close. The being you only see in a picture and you sing bhajans to and you see in your dreams, he's right in your face, right there, the slender form and his lotus feet and the hem of his robe. It was so beautiful. So Swami went through my row and went to the row behind me. So what do? You also turn. You don't keep your back towards Swami. Although Swami was giving saris to the row in front of us, we also turned in the same direction to have darshan. As Swami stretched out his divine hand to give to the sari to the girl sitting in front of me, I'm Kashmiri. I'm effusive. If you have any Kashmiri friends, we have a joke. You should ask them how we express our love. We are very forthcoming. So, even the things our grandmothers would tell us, like, I love you with my heart, liver, and kidney, and I will give you all three. I will organ donate to show my love to you, kind of thing. Balai lagay, rashtep lagay. If you have any Kashmiri friends, they'll tell you. So here is Swami extending his hand right in front of me, and I'm thinking, this is the hand of God. This is the hand that holds the universe, the little brown hand. He's got the whole wide world in his hand. I'm totally excited, and I'm all of 18. So what I do is unthinkable. I touch his hand and I kiss it. Nobody did that in 1980 in public. No woman ever kissed Bhagwan's hand like that outside. And I don't know what overcame me. It was a spontaneous thing. I just grabbed his hand and I went like this and I kissed it because I was so happy to touch God's hand. I thought, like, my life is made. I've touched the hand that created the universe. And then everybody looked so shocked around me. What did she do? Blasphemy. So then Swami just covered up for me and he said, Pagal, so cutely to me with a big smile, radiant face. When Swami smiles, the world smiles at you. Swami gets angry at you, you're half dead in that moment. Because Swami smiled and said, Pagal, so sweetly to me. I got away with it. After that, I kept my eyes downcast and I ran to the dormitory with my sari in under my arm and didn't make eye contact with anyone, lest some discipline leader or some teacher calls me and gives me a mouthful and an earful. So I just hid from them. And then I just came here only to experience God. I had really very little interest in my studies. I liked some subjects, which I liked philosophy a lot. I liked English a lot. I liked political science because I was very good with current affairs and all that. I liked studying world constitutions. Okay. But that was not my primary goal. My primary goal to study here was to connect with living God and I wanted to capture in my mental camera every image of Swami, every touch of his, every voice note, everything, every sound bite that I could. And that was my sole goal. I had no other worldly ambition at all. Now, one time we realized that in summer it's very hot in Parthi, right? But in and it's a longer holiday, so we used to go home. First year we went home in winter and summer, which is around now. In fall, it's very erratic schedule, and once in summertime. The following year, we realized that a lot of girls cleverly stay back for the short Dashera type holiday, like around now, and that is the time there are so few sitting in the Anantapur block, they get a lot of chances with Swami. So I think my sister and I, both Kavita and I, decided to stay back. The year might have been 83, I think. We stayed back in Puttaparthi in the dormitory, which was actually a cement shed located where Shanti Bhavan now stands. And it was a very basic, to put it mildly, accommodation. And with the tin roof, with lots of holes, snakes, squirrels all crawling around, we slept on the floor. And we had a block of bathrooms and toilets attached, which had no roof, and we were happily staying there, sacrificing our going home for that winter vacation, because we wanted to have that closeness with Swami. Every day Swami has to ask us, why didn't you go home? We wanted him to make conversation. We just needed an excuse to talk to him and engage with him. Instead, Swami, just as we came, before we knew, there was mayhem. Everybody's running to the Mandir. Swami got in his beautiful car and drove away to Brindavan. We were so shocked, but everybody said, oh no, he's just gone for 1 or 2 days. There is some work in Brindavan, and Swami is going to finish that and come. But one day became a week, and our holidays were almost going to end. And we were so heartbroken because initially, most of the senior devotees stayed back thinking Swami is going to come back. But then slowly we saw taxis coming and people leaving, and Prasanthi became so desolate. All there was South Indian canteen. So after eating our measly upma in the morning and tea, we were kept engaged by making agarbattis in a shed at the back where like not 6, not 5 now. So we would go to the agarbatti stand, sing bhajans and make agarbattis and attend Mandir bhajan twice. And it was, Bhakti without Swami was lifeless. We were so sad. And again, being my effusive self, I got an idea, why don't we write a letter to Swami? So a handful of us who had stayed back, sacrificed going home, being with parents, eating good food at home, getting all pampered, we sat together and we wrote a letter to Swami. And then, being my creative self, I threw in some emotional drama into the letter. It was a collector. Swami, you're our mother and father, and we came here because we wanted to spend time with you, but you have forgotten us and you have left us neglected in this. And I wrote this word, hangar, aeroplane hangar, because I didn't like that shed accommodation. I said, in this dormitory, which feels like a dilapidated hangar of a dead aeroplane or something, and we are scared, and there are monkeys and snakes and squirrels, and you're not here, and what is the point of living? We are so sad without you. Please come back soon. And we did two things. We sent it by registered post, and we sent it with one sister. I still remember, name is Sujata. She went to Brindavan. Her mother was a volunteer, and she gave it to Swami in hand. And then, just when our holidays were ending, 2 days before Swami, one day before or so, Swami came back. As soon as, the news comes that Swami has left Vrindavan, you can imagine Puttaparthi becomes alive and people start appearing, mushrooming from somewhere. It was such a desolate little town with a handful of girls putting their head down and walking between dormitory, canteen, and agarbatti making and bhajan. That's it. That's all we did. So then suddenly Swami came and Puttaparthi came to life, and we sat in that row. Luckily, we were still quite, not too many of us. So we got a good line. And as soon as Swami came down the veranda on the ladies' side, we were the first people on his left. And Swami came with his head down very seriously to us and he said, कौन मुझको चिट्ठी लिखा, कौन लेटर भेजा, चिट्ठी आया था, स्वामी हम अकेला है, एरोप्लेन हैंगर में रहता है, एरोप्लेन शेड में रहता है, डरता है, मंकी है, कौन लिखा. Now we didn't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it seemed more like a bad thing. He said, who wrote that letter to me, that we are suffering alone and scared in this aeroplane shed, and you have left us. Who wrote that letter? So all of us started to, normally it's like Swami and everybody wants him to look at themselves, so we would turn to try to catch his attention so that his divine eyes would fall on us. On this occasion, everybody's looking down and wanting the earth to swallow us, because after a while, this conversation, he started giving more details about what was written in the letter. हम अकेला है, आपके बगैर डरता है, स्वामी जी आप वृंदावन चले गए. And we wrote in English and Swami started telling us in Hindi that you wrote all this about me. किस किसने चिट्ठी लिखा? Who all wrote the letter? Everybody shrank and became smaller than they could, and nobody owned it up. I wish we had, but we didn't. And then Swami said, Abhi aa gaya, abhi aa gaya. Now you can have. After that, he became calm and he became friendly and he became nice and he smiled and he walked off. So again, like, who wrote the letter? Who was the architect of this mischief? So yours truly had a role to play in it, and so many times maybe we should not have written what I made it so dramatic, so emotional. I wanted to make Swami feel really guilty for abandoning us. I almost accused him of being a mother who left her little fledgling babies abandoned. We were all teenagers, grown up, very capable of looking after ourselves, but I just put in a little drama there. And Swami came and also replicated and spoke to us about that drama. And somehow I had this tendency to get myself into trouble. I never could fit into that box of the Anantapur culture, uh, although I loved Swami and I didn't break any rules as such. But being a person who could express myself, be communicative, and ask questions, I really didn't fit inside the box. I was too outside the box. So it's just, and it was my karma that I would always land myself in this kind of trouble. So then Swami came to Anantapur College, and I was so working so hard the whole night. We all worked every second. We didn't even have time to quickly shower and get ready to welcome Swami, because we were doing all kinds of arrangements, washing dish, washing that, and so on. And this is something I've spoken about before also, that when this happened, Swami came, and the visit was so beautiful and so fast. And he went to the different parts of the hostel, and so many girls told me, Swami, you know what? Swami gave our team Pad Namaskar. Swami said this to us. Swami said that to us. But somehow, being someone who always worked in the background, I was never at the right place at the right time, and I didn't have a single close darshan. And the first visit of Swami was about to end, and all of a sudden I am going through this emotional churning that my relationship with Swami is a sham. It's all in my head. He doesn't even know me. I came here to study here, to be close to him, and I wanted only to have chances with Swami, and he doesn't even know I exist. He doesn't even know about my has no awareness of who I am, or that how much I love him. It's all my imagination, and Swami doesn't know me, and he has perhaps forgotten me, or he's angry with me. And then it all came to, no, Swami doesn't know me. Most likely Swami doesn't know me. And I was so heartbroken. Swami went to the prayer hall. It was the musicians who had to be there, and I had some duty to do in the dining hall. But when I was in the dining hall, I was in the hall where Swami was not seated. This seems to be a recurring theme in my life, and I want you to know it's okay in hindsight. If you want a long-term sustainable relationship with Swami, be very patient, is the story of my life. So the visit was over. Swami came down the prayer hall, and in the hostel we have a garden in the center with a rectangular open corridor around it. So I was sitting outside the medicine room from near the corridor, edge of the corridor, from where Bhagawan would come down the garden, then climb two steps and go past me into the room behind me and exit. My first darshan was when Swami was exiting the campus. My first close darshan. I had seen him. So I was so heartbroken. I could feel the pain in my heart, and big lump here, and I was sitting with my friend, and then Swami came down. He's blessing so many girls, but by the time he came down that corridor with so many these VIP gents with him, I don't actually, we never ever noticed who came with Swami because our eyes were only on Swami, but there were some elders in white and so on, but we didn't know. Even if they were president of India, we wouldn't have much noticed them, because for us the apple of our eye is always Swami. So Bhagwan comes up close to me, but his eyes are downcast, and he lifts the hem of his robe and he climbs one step, two step, and then suddenly looks me straight in the eyes, and he says, "Good girl." I can't tell you what a meltdown I had. Till then, I had worked my teenage self. I was going mad and crazy with despondency. I don't know what that word I have. With existential angst. I doubted my existence, the reason for my birth. I doubted why I was in Anandpur. I doubted why I chose Swami's college. Did I deserve to be here? Do I belong here? Did I make a mistake? Oh my God. And all of a sudden, when he looked me in the eyes and said those two words, all that tension just melted, and I got my answer in a second. And another time, when Swami came again to the hostel, we had made all the arrangements and to welcome him in the lobby. And as luck would have, I was just leaving to take my position where I was supposed to be in the field. So there was a party that would receive Bhagwan in the college foyer, and then Bhagwan would go to the staff room. Then he would come to the big uh, field, the playground, where we had made arrangements for march past, flag hoisting, some cultural items, and so on. And talk of having bad timing written here, I ended up in the college before they shut all the shutters to put people out. Those who were out stayed out, and those who were in stayed in. Reason being, they told me to get one more jug for serving water to the VIPs from a trunk where these special dishes were kept in the hostel. So I ran to the hostel, I picked a steel jug, I washed it, I filled it with good water, I brought it. When I brought it, I got locked inside a place where I was not supposed to be, inside that, what should I say, sanctum sanctorum inside the college. So so I didn't know where to hide myself. I ran up and stood on the stairs. We have a very grand, Bhagwan has made such a grand college in Anantapur. I wish you could once go and visit that campus if you haven't. So we have these Scarlett O'Hara kind of stairs going on two sides of this big open to above atrium. So I stood on one of the steps, and Bhagwan just walked in with this beaming smile, and there were three or four senior ladies: Dr. J. Hemlata, Dr. Jayalakshmi Gopinath, Pushpa Ramana Madam, Mrs. Pushpa Ramana, and Dr. Purna Shri. Four of them were waiting to welcome him in a ceremonial way, which I had never seen or experienced before. I didn't even know that this is something that people do for elders or for godly people. So as soon as Swami came, they welcomed him with Purna Kumbham, and they had arranged in the middle of that foyer a beautiful chair for Swami. Bhagwan sat in it, and they bought a beautiful basin, and they placed his lotus feet in that, and they gently washed his lotus feet and put all kinds of nice things, I think chandan and all, like sandalwood paste, and then they dabbed it with gentle towels. It was for a sight for gods to behold. I had never known that like these ladies have this access to Swami, and you can do something like this. It was so beautiful. I was mesmerized. I lost track of the fact that I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm violating serious discipline, and but God willed it, and I witnessed it. Now, as soon as this happened, Swami spoke to them very softly. All this party of VIPs who come with Swami, they are always very deferential. They would stand a few steps behind and let these four senior teachers interact with Swami and a few others. After that, Swami said, "Oh, let's just go around this round. It's a round circular building with open corridors." And Bhagwan sat in the front foyer, and across in front of him is a beautiful garden. At the other end, there was a beautiful statue of Goddess Saraswati sitting on her swan with her veena. Swami only had installed it when the college was founded. So now that Swami got up and turned to his left to walk around, I didn't know where to hide because all the classrooms were locked. Staff room was open where Swami was to be welcomed. after he would take her, and all the bathrooms had been locked. There are bathrooms also. Bathrooms are strictly locked, so I can't hide myself in a bathroom. So I tried, and it's so I was so exposed because there were pillars. I couldn't hide behind this pillar, that pillar. Although I was much skinnier than now, I still couldn't find a spot where I could disappear and not be visible to anyone. So under these circumstances, Swami went left, I went right, and I'm looking for a spot to hide. Nowhere. Should I jump into the drain and hide myself? What should I do? I ran to Goddess Saraswati. I said, only you got to save me. And I went to the statue and I tried to hide under the wing of her swan and his beak. And I stayed there for the what I thought was a very long time. And I could hear Bhagwan's gentle voice. He was talking to them, and these teachers, elders were answering whatever he was asking. I couldn't understand anything. So I thought I heard some conversation coming my way, and then there was pin drop silence. So after some time, I prayed Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram, Om Sai Ram. My heart was beating so hard. I thought they had gone past me. So I just craned my neck from under the swan to look, and guess what? A bouquet of flower hits my face because Swami just then walked past me, and no one knew there's a girl hiding behind Saraswati, but of course he knew, and he went like looking ahead, and he tosses to his right this bouquet, and I catch it on my face. And then Swami gave me a beautiful smile. That smile saved me again from going to prison for a short term or getting some major reprimand, because he gave me that beautiful smile, like, I got you. And it was like that. And because Swami smiled, everybody smiled. I got away with it. So this happened to me many, many times. And by the time I finished my masters, like 6 years, 5 years later, my small group of friends, a band of us, decided we want to give Swami a gift, and we didn't know what to give him. And Swami is such a mother. When he first gave us that orange sari, when I kissed his hand and said thank you to him, it is a fine cotton called kota from Rajasthan. And it's a very transparent sari. Swami gave us matching orange color skirts, petticoats. And he said, sari transparent hai, matching petticoat deta hai. So we got orange saris with matching petticoats from Swami. What a caring mother, what attention to detail. We had, we all came from very blessed homes, very function. Most of us came from functional families, but we had no idea what true love is, what unconditional love is, what godly love is, till Swami touched our lives. It was some other level of love, caring, and sweetness. So we wanted to give Swami something. And what can you give when you're a student to him who owns the world, the universe? So we decided we'll give Swami a robe. And so we were four of us. And the leader of our team was my sister from Masters in English program, Gayatri Gupta. And she was always full of ideas. And she had known Swami since her childhood. So she said she was the ringleader. So we decided we'll all contribute a little money. And when we came for holidays, we were not allowed to go outside of Prasanthi gates. But her mother had come. So with her mom, she could take permission, and she made multiple trips, and she managed to buy a beautiful orange dhoti with the gold trim for Bhagwan and fabric for his robe. Very nice, fine cotton sort of fabric. I don't know what it's called, lizzy busy or terracotta or something. The kind that Swami would wear, not very warm. So we bought that robe, but the problem was Swami's tailor was not available. So my sister Gayatri, my classmate, she made many attempts to go out and find this with her mother. And till the last day, they kept saying Taylor has gone to Kota Chervu, he's gone to Bangalore, he's gone to Dharmavaram. The guy never came back. And we were told that as the graduating class, Swami is going to speak to us and we will get an interview. So we are here ready to have this opportunity to go into the interview room. We have a half-baked gift idea. It's not stitched. So what do you do? So we decided, let's write a letter to, for everything we used to just write a letter to Swami, and I still do the same. So we wrote a letter to Swami. Swami, we love you, like with all our heart and soul. And I threw in some of my Kashmiri drama in the letter. You know, with every cell of our being, Swami, you are all we want in our lives, and this and that. And then, but Swami, we wanted to get your robe, but sadly the tailor is not available. Can you please help us by getting it stitched on our behalf? And we put ₹100 bill in the letter for sewing charges for Swami. Imagine giving Mahalakshmi 100 rupees, and then we put the letter inside this thin packet that we made for Swami. And since Gayatri was, we were all quite skinny then, but Gayatri was the skinniest, so we tucked it inside her sari, this gift, and we went for this interview. Now, when I got a similar graduating batch interview after my bachelor's, there were no teachers with us. It was a very special one. In this one, in masters, the teachers were with us. Now, you cannot, you're not supposed to give gifts to Swami, right? Some students are not supposed to give anything to Swami, no material objects. So this whole interview, we are looking at Swami. Swami even gave us opportunity batch-wise take pictures. We took picture with Swami, 4 of us, 5 of us, but we couldn't give the gift. So now we were so caught up. We are in the interview room, and the gift is tucked in Gayatri's sari. How to give it to Swami? As the interview concluded, Swami picked up that beautiful brocade basket and started giving vibhuti packets to everybody. So we quickly took ours first. Okay, clever strategy. Then we saw all the girls are asking Swami, what should I do next? Swami, what about my father's health? What about my mother's this thing, that thing? They're all asking personal things, and Swami's answering them and giving them and putting his hand and inquiring. Swami got distracted. This is in the main interview room. We slipped behind the curtain and went inside the inside interview room. That's the first time and the only time I have entered that room. I haven't had too many such privileges. And I was so surprised to see it was so bare bones. There's nothing in it. There's clean floor, shiny walls made of stone and some oil painting, and one chair of Swami which has an single rod and 3 legs, 3 little things jetting out. That's it. It's not even a sofa chair that you can hide behind it. So there is no place to hide anything. So we took this packet out of Gayatri's tummy and we hid it behind the chair, although it was quite visible to the naked eye. Okay. And we quickly came out. Nobody noticed that these girls went inside the interview room and came out also. It was his grace. And as we came out, Swami was standing like a doorkeeper, telling the girls to leave. So what Swami did, he stepped outside the interview room and started engaging with the men. And from the back, he's just waving us, move on, keep going. And we kept trooping out and going to the ladies' side and sitting. So mission accomplished. We have dropped the robe. We have written a letter. We have put ₹100 bill for sewing charges, tailoring charges for his robe. And we quickly sat in our usual area. So excited we had done it. And Swami comes. And inside, Swami was so friendly, loving, full of jokes and whatnot. But the moment he came towards us, he was just looking down and very serious. And very different Sai Baba. He comes close to us and he said in Telugu, all the children who have left clothes for me, hidden clothes for me in the inside room, I will make sure they all fail in their exam. And there were 4 stupid voices that said, Swami, please no. And we let out the cat. Everybody knew who those bad kids were who left clothes inside the interview room. We're like, Swami, no, please, Swami. And then he looked at us and he just burst out laughing. Actually, Swami, rarely see him laughing. There are very few videos of Swami laughing heartily, and that's what happened to him. And again, thanks to the divine smile, nobody asked us what happened, when did you do it, how did you do it. Can you imagine? We were those audacious 4 girls who gave Swami ₹100 bill. Oh my God, what were we thinking? But that's all we could think of at that stage. And we just didn't know how else to express our love and gratitude to him who had given us everything and continues to give us everything in life. But with Swami, the fun of engaging with him was so amazing. I remember one convocation, the first convocation after bachelor, they took a lot of black and some professional photographer. We didn't even know where they were. Our eyes were on Swami. It was in PC auditorium, and some professional photographer must have taken a whole bunch of black and white pictures and given them to Swami. So one day Swami came and he looked out for my sister who was sitting in the darshan and he said, तुम्हारा Tumhara sister, coconut trees, because we were all comparatively taller girls, a few of us. So he used to call us coconut trees because we stood out and for mischief and for our physical height, I guess. And he gave her those pictures calling us the coconut tree girls. And I just want to tell you that with Swami, no, our relationship can never change. If we once come into his fold, we belong to him. And we are a part of him, whether we know it or not, but we are as dear. Sometimes people feel, I haven't gone to Prasanthi Nilayam, I feel a distance from Swami. Nothing like that. It is all our imagination. For Swami, there is no distance. So I studied here for 6 years, from 1980 to 86. And then I could not come back to Parthi till 95. About 9 years later, I did come. And then we started coming regularly. And in 2016, my husband and I and my son, we relocated to Prasanthi Nilayam. And at that time, when the first Rakhi came, now as a student, every year I gave Swami a Rakhi, because I'm blessed with so many brothers around the world now because of Swami, but I don't have a biological brother. So I always gave Swami a Rakhi and he always accepted it. And many times, after seeing some of us do it, all the girls started giving Swami Rakhi, but he would tell them, Bhai ko bando, tied to your brother. But mine he always took, never ever not taken. So when I left Prashanti also, every year I sent him a Rakhi by mail and a letter with all my emotional atyachar, and for him to remember me and to love me and to make sure I'm near to him and dear to him. Otherwise, even as God, he can be in trouble, kind of thing. So I every year I had sent him a Rakhi, and in 2016 when I relocated, I was so happy I was here in person and I could give him. I wrote my sob story letter, very short one, and I made a Rakhi at home and I put it in the letter, and I sat in my darshan line and I took permission from Shauri auntie, can I please step forward and give it to Swami? She said okay. And so I got up as soon as Swami came and he took my letter and he looked at me. That time in 2016, Swami used to come in the chair, but he was very kind to give me those big black eyes look. And he took my letter, and then I saw that Swami went and sat on the portico, and Swami started going through letters and he picked a letter. I knew it was my letter because I always do all kinds of fancy handwork on my letters, and I know what I wrote in it also. So I had written a letter with the poem from that I used to read to my children, and I had slightly changed it. It's a poem by Robert Munsch. I'm a Munshi, but it's Robert Munsch who wrote that poem, and it's about a mother and a child who says, the mom keeps saying, I love you forever, I like you for always. As long as I live, your mother I shall be. And then over the years, the kid becomes a teenager, a crazy funky person, this that, and then the mother becomes old, and then the son becomes like a parent to the old small shriveled mom, and he says the same thing, I love you forever, I like you for always, as long as I live, my mama you shall be. So I slightly tweaked the words and I said, my sweet whatever you shall be, and all that. I wrote this poem to Swami, and on the back of my piece of paper, I drew a beautiful big omkar. Very nice, with lots of exos for Swami, hugs and kisses. Kashmiris are big on hugs and kisses, so I wrote a lot of exos and little hearts everywhere. But a very big, prominent Om I drew. When Swami opened that letter, my Om was visible. Then he pulls the Rakhi out of it, my thread. Rakhi is the thread we tie for our brothers on a special day, Raksha Bandhan. So then Swami tore this Rakhi and gave one piece to the gentleman who was to his right, one to the boy to his left. He read my letter for a long time. There were only 4 lines. I love you forever. I like you for always. As long as I live, my God, you shall be. My brother, you shall be. My whatever you shall be. So that's all I had written and signed off. And happy holy Rakhi Swami and all that Raksha Bandhan. I kept reading it and I felt so happy. And I was like, oh God, finally, after all these years of I sent him Rakhi from Delhi, I sent him Rakhi from Toronto, wherever in the world I lived, I always gave Swami Rakhis, and I tied at home also, right? So this was a great validation. And I can tell you one thing, over the years, because I made God my brother, I have the world's best human beings as my brothers. If you aim high for God to be your brother, He will incarnate and come to you in the form of the world's finest human beings. And I'm so blessed, endowed in life. I have this huge scaffolding of people I can count on for anything I want in life, whether it's regarding Vidya Vaini or anything else. I can just pick up the phone or WhatsApp a brother and say, "Hey, can you please help me out with this?" And I have never ever been declined. And I think it's because I have a very special brother. My bhai is extraordinarily strong. And then when I came here, I started working for the what was then the Radio Sai. I was volunteering there, and because I'm an ex-student and I was living in Puttaparthi, I was expected to do what is known as security duty in the Mandir. I had a very hard time balancing everything because you have to report for duty on time. But I tried it for a few weeks, didn't go so well. I was always late because I had to go to work. I had to come here. I had a house to run. So whenever I came, no, whenever there is a process method to this madness of where they assign you to sit for your security duty, and they followed the same procedure for me. But as my luck would have, whenever I got a prominent place to sit where I would be in Swami's park, that day Swami would not come because Swami had become a little irregular in coming for darshan. So if they put me in a very good spot because it was my chance to sit in morning, that day Swami would come in the evening or vice versa. And I was feeling so heartbroken. I was like, Swami, what is this? How come I don't get chances? And some security girls, as soon as they sit, Swami gives some VIP person vibhuti and they can give Swami a handkerchief. I also wanted to do that. Then Swami came in my dream and he said, you want two things. You want to be close to me and you want me to love you. No, you want to be close to me and you want to be dear to me. You are dear to me. But if I come too close to you, there are many people who will be jealous of you. And he pointed to some people who I knew personally. In that dream, they were seated in darshan line. Can you believe? I never suspected them of ever being jealous of me. But Swami kind of pointed to a bunch of faces who were very familiar. And I woke up with this dream. And soon enough, they gave me like the my duty. They sat me in a good place, and then after Swami went, they sat me in a very bad place actually because that was my day for a bad place. And that day Swami came in the morning darshan unexpectedly, and he went into the interview room. Then there used to be a reshuffle. Some people have to go for breakfast. Then they took me and sat me in the funniest place next to next to Swami's Mandir, a lady's side where there is a Krishna embossed on the wall and there is Swami's kitchen door. So I had to sit in that area where there were many green empty cushions for supposedly in case the doctors came. But doctors don't come on working days, but their space was reserved. And my job was not to look, if Swami is going to walk this way, I don't look that way. I have to sit like this facing that Krishna Bhagwan and the door. That's the duty they gave me. So I sat there looking at the door. Now, in this time, there was nobody I had to, I was in charge of full security, I was in charge of empty block, but I followed instructions. And I'm looking at the door and I'm feeling so bad for myself, loathing in self pity, and sending all kinds of guilt feelings to Swami for neglecting me again, because I'm good at doing that. And in this time, some VIPs came and they were allowed to be near this wall because as soon as Swami comes out of the veranda on the ladies' side, there is like a ramp. And these VIPs were the first ones there. They were allowed. And I had to do nothing because they were too big for me to even monitor. I had to keep looking at the kitchen door. That was my job. And suddenly, one of the VIP children fell sick on the spot, sadly. So she went through some kind of an episode, and when this episode was going on and she was feeling very unwell and other VIPs were taking care of this child, Swami comes out in his chair. And the people who are pushing Swami's chair, they don't know what to do. Like Swami didn't say move, Swami didn't say stop. Swami just sat there and he wouldn't look at the child. He just there to support and bless the child. And they're trying to calm down the child and make her sit. But Swami had no one to look at except yours truly. He's just sitting there, bored, a bored looking God with only one object, big black eyes just looking at me. I'm thinking, is he looking at me? Is there anyone behind me? I don't remember. This place is entirely empty. It's a working day. There's no one in this block. Big black eyes of God focused on me continuously. No conversation, and at a quite a distance from me, maybe like 15 feet away from me or 10, but directly, and only I was the only object of his divine vision for those maybe like few minutes, like 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. I cannot tell you the feeling without anyone knowing that he's looking at me, because everybody in darshan can only see Swami's hair and back, and they know that something is happening there because the child was not well, but Swami is looking only at me. So he compensated so beautifully when he didn't give me chances during my entire circuit. I did every block, no chance, neglect, ignore me, and now he made up for everything. You know, the Satcharita says that the mother tortoise is on this side of the river bank and the babies are on the other, and she nourishes them by looking at them. Whenever we think of Swami's big, beautiful black eyes looking at us, I think we are in his immediate protection. I don't know. We are in the energy, in the light of Bhagawan. And we need nothing else. Full insurance plan, full protection, full guidance. And that's what he did so many times for me. And I think that's actually, I wish I could turn my computer and show you. That is what I have in front of me, big black eyes of Swami on a big poster across from me. And I think that's what it just keeps me going. So I just want to share, I should keep an eye on the time. Yeah. So I just want to share with you one quick interview experience. When in the early years, some used to call us for interview in the prayer hall, the Mandir Bhajan hall. So where there is the Singhasan for Swami, the which that time Shirdi Baba was not there, the big main prayer hall. And if they would tell, Kutumrao Garu would send message that Swami has called Anantapur students for interview, be there. Let's say they would say 3 o'clock. Who listens to time? We used to be so excited. Right after lunch, we would wear our best clothes and go and line outside the Mandir building in the hot sun at 12:30 only. By 1:32, they would let us into the veranda. But pin drop silence, because when you know you're going to have an audience with God, you feel you're being audited completely. So you have to be your best behavior, and all of us start thinking of how have I been acting, behaving, and so on. And what if I get into trouble with Swami? Have I been a good person, and so on? So we just sit there chanting Om Shri Sai Ram all the time on the veranda till they open the wooden doors. Now, see, I was not very experienced in all these how to get chances. That I didn't know. There were some girls who were born with those skills. So the moment they, no matter where in line I stood, and they would say, "Girls, don't push. Girls, don't run," I would obey. And guess what, always be left behind. So and there were some girls who would just sort of just slide in, and they would, because in those interview, no, it's only for us. So our teachers and us, we can sit very close to Swami's singhasan, the throne, in the prayer hall. So we would keep room for Swami, but sit on the gent side very close to it. And normally Swami would come from his door, enter, sit on the Singhasan, and then he say, "Come close." And we'd all squeeze in very close to the Singhasan. Yeah, but of course, the girls who sat in the first block would be the closest. I was not one of them, usually, ever. I think never ever have I been on the first block. So what happened on this day? And Swami, and once we sat in the prayer hall, you could hear your heartbeat because it was pin drop silent and everybody on their best behavior. And all we wanted was to keep our eyes peeled on Swami's door, the first door. He would come out of the interview room and then enter from the first door with all the toranams and enter and sit on the Singhasan and call us forward. Everybody's looking at that door, and when will it open? Any minute now. Because if we sense a stir outside of the volunteers, Sevadal, we know Swami is going to come. Just sitting and praying, "Swami, please forgive me for my mistakes. Swami, please help me with this exam. I don't like studying," whatever, all our problems in the life, in our lives. chanting, praying, sitting so still, anticipation. You could feel the tension in the air, like anticipation, in a happy way tension. And guess what? Everybody's looking at the front door. Swami enters from the rear door, the last door, and suddenly says, Aim Samacharam? Oh, that sweetest voice of God, which was like honey. When Swami said that, the losers who sat at the end became first row benchers, right? Last row became first because we turned and Swami is there in front of us. And this is how I found Swami always made up for the Buddhus in the group, like myself. And suddenly we are in his face, right in front of Swami, and he says, Kya samacharam? Kabhi aaya? Kaisa hai? How many girls have come? And now the people who are supposed to answer, the staff, the elders, they're all sitting at near the Singhasan at the other end of that prayer hall. So suddenly we make way for Jama Madam and Pushpa Madam to come forward and say, Swami, these many girls, we came yesterday, we are going tomorrow, this, that, and all, whatever he inquired. And one time, not only Swami did he come from the back door, he asked Gemma Madam to comment on the Arjun and Krishna statue that has been made at the back of the prayer hall. It had just been done, that sculpture. And he asked her, how do you like the expression? Like, dare she differ or say it's not nice? Swami is beautiful. He said, do you think Arjuna's expression is good? Like, so she said, yes, Swami. Isn't he looking too thoughtful? Just making conversation. Then he said his mustache was too big and stuff like that. And then he stood there at the back end of the prayer hall, all of us turning towards him, and gave us a beautiful discourse. And in that discourse, I vividly remember Swami sang a Meera bhajan. And he said, Meera, I don't have a singing voice. If I did, I would have sung it for you. Swami sang so beautifully. And he said, Meera used to sing Chalore Mana. And then, Swami tilted his head like this. And he had such a big nose. And he said, Ganga, Yamuna, Tire. Okay, so Ida and Pingala, like your two energies, and they converge here in this chakra here, and Swami's, I can visualize it. I can't tell you the bliss of that moment. Swami had a big head of hair at that time, and he's tilting his head and showing us how Chalore Man Ganga Yamuna Tire, and then he sang the rest of the song for us. And Swami often told us why all the things that we do in Sanatan Dharma, if I wear a bindi, if I tie my hair a certain way, when I bring my three parts of my braid together, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, there is a sacred spot here where a lot of divine energy is stored. So, all the things that as young teenagers we resented the discipline, why can't I didn't actually, I had long hair and I always braided it, but some people might have, or question why should we always wear a bindi and all that. I never did, thankfully. But I know one thing, some girls were very resentful of having to wear a bindi, so they put a tiny dot. So the joke was that it was mosquito shit that was on their forehead, not a real bindi. But the reason Swami asked us to dress and celebrate our Devi selves was to bring us close to respecting ourselves, to loving ourselves. This whole new age concept of self love, Sanatan Dharma has always had it. Every woman and man should celebrate their divinity and respect who they are. And that is why we were encouraged to follow certain protocols of neatness, aesthetics, and proper dress sense to present ourselves in a certain way, just as Bhagawan did all his life. Have you ever seen Swami with the stubble, messy hair, wearing his banyan and a towel on this and, waving at someone? Never. We only know of Swami, ever beautiful Swami. Have you ever taken namaskar and found his feet were not velvety, soft, and clean? Never. Because Swami believed and set an example. He said his life is his message, and so should we follow. And uh, I think one thing that really comes to me very strongly this during the Navaratri season is why every human being should celebrate the feminine aspect of their personality, men and women. That means we are expected to be in his image, more forgiving, starting with ourselves and then those around us, more empathetic and compassionate and caring and sensitive, and accepting of differences. We are so quick to judge others who are not like us, who don't think like us, who don't sound like us, who don't agree with our views. And the world is so divergent right now. There is such polarization at all levels happening very rapidly in the last, since after COVID, some kind of a spiral the world has gone into, and in every which way we are finding people are acting very strange. But we have to remember a few things. And for me, the main thing to remember is remind ourselves whose we are. If I call myself his daughter, I have to remind myself the blood that flows through my veins is come from him. My DNA is Swami's DNA, and the energy that allows me to function every day comes from my father Shiva. Swami is the Sarupa of Shiva Shakti Avatara. And if I am his progeny, I have to represent him in the same spirit. Otherwise, I'm doing a great what is that word? Disservice to this privilege. And I will always remain slightly conflicted, there but not quite there. Time has come for each of us to embrace, own, and unapologetically claim our lineage. We are the children of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Swami, we are yours, and keep us going till we realize we are you. There are moments of transcendence that we experience, but we are so full of self doubt that we don't believe that it is Swami guiding us. Whenever we think without a bias from a place of love, think lovingly about ourselves and others, we are our God selves in action. The moment we put filters of prejudice, judgment, biases, we become our individual selves who are so conditioned by our upbringing, our own experiences, and our social constraints and structures and constructs. So, dear sisters and brothers, this is the year of the centenary. There is no room, no time, all deadlines have expired. It is time for us to make sure that we claim our heritage as the heirs to the kingdom of God that emanates from Prasanthi Nilayam. I want to congratulate each one of you for having the wisdom, the discrimination, and the blessing of God and your ancestors to understand and realize that Prasanthi Nilayam is the motherboard. The day you disconnect with it, natural self cell death. The only way we can ever recharge ourselves, our spiritual selves, is to plug into this powerhouse, the spiritual capital of the universe. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you think of Prasanthi Nilayam and the Lord of Prasanthi Nilayam often with lots of love, and I will try to do the same. Thank you very much, and loving Sairam to all of you from Prasanthi Nilayam. Right now, when I'm speaking to you, Mandir mein bhajan is going on. So may the Lord of Prasanthi I send you his vibes, and I pray to Swami to bless each one of you. Sairam.